Hi everybody, John Cena here and welcome to this super edition of FUNKQUEST, and we have a very special guest with us today. Not only do we have our reigning Season 1 FUNKQUEST Grand Champion, we have another guest which I'll get on to in a moment, but we do have probably some people listening to us that have not listened to us before, so I'm going to give you a quick 20-second introduction to the rules and what we're all about to make sure that you keep listening. FUNKQUEST is a game of thought-provoking interactions where we look for things that we didn't know, and the best way to do this is to hang around with different people that we wouldn't necessarily talk to. So if you are watching this on YouTube, you will see my screen. It has 4 icons across the top, 5 questions down the side. If you're listening to on Spreaker, iHeartRadio or any of those other things like Apple Podcasts, you'll have to kind of take my word for it. We take it in turns. There's an icon, and the icon will reveal a question which may or may not be related to that icon. Contestants, Funksters get a minute. After that, that's the end of the time, and you can decide who wins. I'll tell you how to do that at the end of the show, so you've got to keep listening. You might need a piece of paper or a pencil, although you've got to decide who you want to vote for. There's only one rule. It is no swearing, no politics, and no religion, which might be quite interesting because our first guest, Funkster, who hasn't had to go through any qualifying rounds. I want you to tell me, Alexander, who you are, where you're from and what you do.
Hello there, my name is Alexander Stafford. I'm the Member of Parliament for Rother Valley. That means I sit in the UK Parliament down in Westminster and represent Rother Valley, where Jonathan is from. And for those that don't know, Rother Valley is the area of South Yorkshire, basically, the southernmost bit of Yorkshire, south of Rotherham. So I'm the elected representative. I'm quite new, got elected about 9 months ago. I'm still young, keen, enthusiastic. I think this is a great, funky quest to get involved in.
Excellent. And listeners to the show, existing listeners will know who Leana is. Leana, tell us, for those who don't know you, who you are, where you're from and what you do.
My name's Leana Dell, and I'm in Dallas, Texas, of all places, and I'm an author, and I have a podcast. So I'm thrilled to be back here on FUNKQUEST, and I'm really excited about having this opponent because.
Excellent. Well, I don't know what you can decide who's going to win, but what I thought, Alexander, is that if you win, you buy me a pint. If Leana wins, I'll buy you a pint. How does that sound?
Sounds good to me.
Well, we'll send you something through the post. I want Leana to kind of give us a whirl on how it goes first. So you got the first pick. You got some surfboards, some pumpkins, a kind of pad thing, or a summer house.
Okay, I'm going to go with the pumpkins. Let's do it.
And you get 1 minute to give us some insight. How do you take losing?
Actually, I take it fairly well, I think. Not that we're going to find that out today, but I think I do. I'm probably more competitive against myself than I am with other people. That's why I like any kind of sports that I play, which aren't many. I like golf because I compare my game to the game I played prior. So I don't really get wrapped up. It's more about the fun of the game.
Yeah, like this.
Like this, exactly.
What's your handicap at golf?
My game.
Got a set of clubs in a bag.
Yeah, it's maybe a couple times a year that I play, but I've been doing it since I was 12, so I can hit the ball, but yeah, no, the score is not.
I've never ever played golf. Alexander, you played golf?
If it involves windmills and clowns and castles, I'm all up for it. But apart from that, probably not.
Yeah, like Skegness Arnold Palmer as a child.
Yeah.
Now that's the time. Hopefully you've got the idea, and if you have a funny story about losing, you can pick the same icon. If not, we'd prefer you to pick something else.
I'll pick the surfboards.
Surf. How many photos do you have on your phone?
Oh, thousands, tens of thousands, probably. I mean, got small photos, big photos, all photos. I just love snapping away. I mean, I'm a politician, so let's be honest. We take pictures of everything, pictures with people, pictures away from people. But also, now everything is in the cloud and everything. All my photos get uploaded automatically, and it's great fun. All my holiday snaps. I used to have like a big, SLR with a big zoom lens sort of thing. But now, well, who needs that? The phone cameras are so good now. It's like you just need that. You don't need to have any big tech. I think that's a great thing now. Everything is in a little device. I'm waving my phone up rather than have to mess around with other cameras.
When you go out on this is like a bit of insider gen, when you go out on your trips around Rother Valley, how many photographs will you typically take at one coffee shop, pub, restaurant, or somewhere like that?
Not too many. I generally like taking one with the owner or the constituent I'm meeting or the business one. Hopefully looks too nice in the sense we're looking at the camera and not winking too much or growling or whatever. But just one or two, not that narcissistic.
I thought you'd be taking thousands, keep the best ones. They're all very good, I must say. They do come across as pretty good. Leana, question 2. When it loads, you've got some kind of Jeep, a fish, some little toys, and some party shoes.
Oh, party shoes, John.
What a surprise. Who pays on a first date? Now, I know you're going to be getting married soon, so I don't know, did this affect you?
This is kind of it depends geographically, I think. I'm going to go with that. So let me explain. In Texas, where I live, the gentleman always pays on the first date. In Canada, where I'm from, they each pay for their own.
Quiz.
So, that's probably why I'm marrying somebody in Texas.
Would you get into trouble if you did the wrong thing?
I literally have gotten in trouble because I lived in Canada, came down to Texas, tried to pay for my meal on a first date, and the gentleman actually told me that he was insulted by that. So I learned very quickly that wasn't the thing to do. And I moved back to Canada temporarily and went out and sat back and waited for the guy to pay. And then I got in trouble for waiting for him to pay and not paying. So I literally got really confused. I'm like, where's the rule book? There's got to be a rule book.
How does an insulted gentleman in Texas show his insult?
Oh, very, very nicely. Just so you know, the next time we go out, that's never happening again. That should.
By the way, if we go out again.
Oh, I thought I was being nice.
Question 2, Alexander.
Oh, the little yellow fish.
Where can you see the best views in Rother Valley?
Well, obviously in Rother Valley, you go to Dinnington High Street, Thurcroft High Street, you've got beautiful views across Rother Valley. But apart from Rother Valley, I think the best views are the ones of my family. Wherever my family are, my wife Natalie, my daughter Persephone playing outside. To me, that is the best view in the whole world. It doesn't matter where that view is, as long as they're in shot. That to me is the best view.
That's nice. Yeah, nobody's ever said that. People always say, "Oh, I've got this mountain or a stream or whatever."
There's some good views there in Rother Valley. They're really beautiful. Rother Valley Country Park is beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And there's so many, like Roche Abbey, just outside Maltby. That's lovely as well.
Question 3, Leana.
Okay, I'm going to pick the violin.
That was the last person you pranked.
Pranked?
The guy at the date, right?
The guy.
Did you kind of say, ha ha, joke's on you kind of thing?
That's a good one. I don't prank people. Isn't that weird?
I think I'd you down as a pranker.
Lord, I don't think I've pranked since high school.
Yeah.
And I can't even remember what that would have been. Probably some kind of stupid phone call. At the time.
I'm just going to use this bit of time to ask Alexander. Have we lost the art of pranking? You probably get more abuse than kind of most.
Well, I think there's a difference between abuse and pranking. I think.
Yeah.
I don't think they're pranked me, but I get a lot of abuse. Everything from I want to hang me from the nearest lamppost, literally, to various other bits. But no one's pranked me yet. A good wholesome prank is enjoyable for everyone, but you have to get not to abuse. The people, I think, you want to prank someone, you should at least know them and have a good sort of banter with them, rather than just attacking someone in the street, because that's not.
Yeah. We do have some flexibility, by the way, new listeners, to kind of borrow time from each other if we've got an interesting answer or somebody's got an angle on something. So
I jump in then? Someone else to Leanne.
Well, you can have your own question 3 now. You get your own time.
Anyone better?
This is not a social democracy. This is whatever I say.
Okay. That's something which got the mouse. Oh no, I'll go for the fruit thing.
Fruit. Okay, yeah. It would be your first guest if you had a talk show.
Ooh.
Oh, well, that's. I also have Boris Johnson. I know it's not a politician, but I don't know. Can I go aside? The picture you've just shown is a picture of like the Crusaders or something fighting a battle with arrows and swords and stuff. So I don't know where that comes from.
I don't know.
If you're talking about historical people, I think there's so many great historical characters that we want to choose, like Julius Caesar, talking about that. A great Roman, somebody, what happened to him, conquered all of Gaul and then got stabbed in his back by his closest friends. There's a metaphor for a politician if there is one.
Brilliant. Yeah, good answer. There's a question on another board that says, if you had a time machine, where would you go? So you'd go on your time machine to Julius Caesar, get him on a talk show.
I'll get him on a talk show. So what happened? Where did it go so wrong? How did your closest friends betray you? But then also I'll say, despite that you died, but you ushered in the empire, and there were 400 years of relative peace across the Roman Empire, relative. So, all good things come to an end.
If you could go back and do anything differently, yeah, good answer. Very, very funky answer. Leanna's nodding away. What, question 4? Leanna, some sheepdog thing, Route 66, a flower and some kind of soldier.
I think I'm going to take the flower.
Which animal should gain the power of speech? And it's that word should again.
Oh, I'm going to say a cat.
Because?
Well, I thought about dog, but dogs are pretty predictable, I think. Like, you pretty much have can I go for a walk? Where's my treat? It's kind of, I think they'd be pretty predictable. But cats, you just never know, right? Every cat's different. Yeah. Takes a while to get to know their personalities. Even then, you're really not sure what's going on in their head. So that's, even though they'd probably be insulting. There is that.
They wouldn't be very, would they prank people? Could you get them on a talk show? Work out.
I bet they would. I bet they would. So yeah, I would definitely do cat.
Question 4, Alexander, you got the choice of some, like a sheepdog, Route 66, or some kind of soldier.
Route 66. I love a bit of America. I love a bit of road trip. So yeah,
Which is your favourite chocolate bar?
I mean, there's so many good ones, but it's got to be a Cadbury's one. We're talking probably like, I always think of 12, because I used to get a flake, but the problem with the flake is you lose half of it when you bite into it. So 12 is like an upmarket flake, because it's covered in an extra layer of chocolate. So, but with a cup of tea, a Kit Kat, good dunking there. You can't be dunking, with the biscuit in it, it means you can actually dunk in it. So yeah, a 12 for like chocolate bar, with a cup of tea, probably a Kit Kat.
Excellent. Leana, do you have 12s and Kit Kats? Or do you know what all those?
We have Kit Kats. Actually, Canada and the U.S. both have Kit Kats. So I was surprised when you said that, but we don't have...
Did you have Hershey's? And isn't that top taste disgusting?
We have Hershey's, yeah.
And that's disgusting, isn't it?
In fact, there's a town, Hershey, Pennsylvania, where they make Hershey chocolate.
I'd heard from a previous guest that Mr. Hershey was the nearest equivalent to Jesse Boot in Nottingham. Local benefactor, donated stuff to the community, blah, blah, blah. Wow. Actual real person, studied customer services like Disney, etc., etc. That's what you get by listening to the show. Question 5.
I'm going to pick the Statue of Liberty, I think.
Statue of Liberty.
Everyone loves a cliche.
What really needs to be modernised?
Oh, what really needs to be modernized? I think I've had this question before, and I think it stumped me the last time. I'm going to say...
employment law for women. That needs to be modernised. Get women back to work.
Yeah, talk about that. Yeah. I tell you what.
Well, that is something. Actually, equal pay for equal pay. That's huge. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
He stole my other option away. I don't even get a pint, but that's okay. I just think that at this, I remember when I was a kid, that was it was an issue back then, I'm not saying when, but it was a huge issue that we weren't getting paid equal. And now, it's what, 2020.
Yeah.
What gives?
Has to get sorted. It's been going since the Industrial Revolution, hasn't it, this, or the First World War, or way back when?
Honestly.
Yeah. So that's your thing, equal pay for women.
Yeah, thanks to my opponent's help.
Excellent. Alexander, question 5, I think, and it is this cityscape, backgammon, or a truck?
I do love bit of trucking. However, I'll go for backgammon, one of the oldest games known to man. Backgammon, great game. A lot of cultural influences there, so let's go backgammon.
My family started teaching themselves that when lockdown was on.
Really? It's a good game.
Bit of luck, bit of skill. What do you do to spiders in the bath?
I run away and get my wife, because they're out there. It depends. If they're the small itsy-bitsy ones, the wrath of Alex comes down to crush them. But if it's a bigger one, a classic glass and piece of paper underneath it, and then we sort of, hopefully it dies or we chuck it up. But obviously, as a big environment, working for an animal charity previously, I don't condone killing of spiders, apart from when they're nasty and they should die. What
should we do with them then, according to an animal charity?
Chuck them out the window from top floor.
Lob them out. That's the official advice.
That's my advice anyway. Get us better out the top of the top window. Flying spiders, I'm sure, a thing. So let release them to nature, back to where they belong.
Yeah, send them back. Excellent. Well, good. You've both had 5 questions. You both had a minute-ish per question. So who won? Who owes who a pint, and we've got to work this out because you can vote who gave you the biggest funky insight, the biggest thought, idea or suggestion or something. It could be a book you're going to go read. You might want to go learn play backgammon. You might want to go investigate Mr. Hershey. You've got to leave a comment on FunkyThinkers.com. You've got to go to this episode page. You've got to vote for Leana or Alexander. Don't leave it on YouTube or Facebook or Spreaker or Hot Radio or any of those other things you might be listening to. Go to FunkyThinkers.com and leave a comment, and we'll work out who owes who a pint in about a week or so after this episode is live. Leana, thank you so much for being on the show. How can we contact you and find out more about you and buy your book?
You can find me at leanadell.com or at girlfriendweneedtotalk.com, and I'm having a pint regardless.
Good for you. Alexander, how can we find out you and find out more about you?
Yeah, go on our website, alexanderstafford.org.uk.
Excellent. And if you are interested in finding out more about FunQuest, this is actually harder than it looks. These guys are pretty good. They've got it sussed. You can go to funkythinkers.com and you can play this game yourself with your family. Over Zoom, it goes down gangbusters. We've got Yorkshire Edition, we've got Sports Edition, we've got Movies Edition. If you think you're up to it and you want to come on the show and get your thoughts about random things like spiders broadcasted to the world, find the FunQuest page and apply. And we'll see you maybe on the show. Alexander and Leana, thank you so much for being on the show, and we'll speak soon.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me. And good meeting you, Leanne.
You too.
Hi, thanks so much for making it to the end of this episode. Did you know that you can play FunQuest yourself? We call it FQY. You can get going now with a 10% discount coupon that's displayed above my shoulder. Thanks so much and take care.